It was pretty straightforward. I'm just going to try to take this top one off of here. Hopefully it'll come easy. Alright fellas, well we're back at it again today. I am taking some time this morning. We got a big project coming up, and with all the COVID stuff, we're getting all of our air handlers at this property, confirming that the outside air is actually functioning. We've recently done a controls retrofit here, so we're just going to be going through and seeing if any of the actuators are failed or failing, and that everything is actually functional. On this building, what it does is it brings outside air just straight from a intake plenum, comes in, uses a damper on this actuator to just control how much outside air the air handler gets. It does have the return air comes through the bottom panel. It's locked in at full open. All that's been disabled, disconnected. It's been like that since we took over the account. There's just not been something we've done anything to address. They were having a lot of automation issues, hence why they wanted the retrofit. So anyway, we're gonna roll through this. I'm also noticing this air handler is not on for some reason. Huh. Well, we'll come back to that. It's kind of weird. I know over here we've got our panel. Cycle it. While we do that, we're gonna verify. Yep, outside air is open. It's dirty, but it's open. Alright, well, re-enable that. Let's see what this bad boy does. It may not be getting a start signal from the automation, which I believe is, yeah, up here. $50. Damper command. These are all inputs. So all of our outputs we've got wired. Do show to be closed. So why are you not running? Okay, well, like I said, I'll have to take some time, come back to it. For some reason it's not wanting to do this job. Anyway, moving on. So here's an example. This actuator is actually working, but it's been disconnected. So we need to get this reconnected. Let me get my camera set up here. back with a set of pliers. I don't have them on me. So the problem, what happened here, is your signal, this is your common, and this red here is your power. For whatever reason, I don't know why, they wired up signal and common, but they did not wire in power. So it was not allowing this actuator to even do its job, and that's the reason why it was closed upon walking up to it. Now, if you couldn't tell in the time lapse, I clearly did not bring enough tools. You know, I've got that linkage on the other one I need to go grab a pair of pliers for. I did not have my wire strippers for that. I had to use my pocket knife. I do have my beater meter, that's what I call it. It's my cheap meter I can tear up being guilty about it. But anyway, yeah. So you can see on here, you know, black, red, white. Now this red's kind of pinkish in color, but it's also, I'm pretty sure it's just faded. They're normally a little darker than that. But what this does is red and black has constant power on it, and white receives the signal coming in, so that headgum, I'm stumbling all over myself. The actuator knows what position to be in based off of the signal that's being sent. And that is how this particular one works. So sometimes I really hate the way they do their schematics, because that's one thing about Belimo. I'm not a fan of their schematics, because if you sit here and read this, the way this reads to somebody from the service side of the field, not the electrical engineering side, this doesn't read right. That's yeah, that would confuse a service tech in a heartbeat. So I'd caution you against that. Anyway, regardless, that was this one. It was pretty simple. I just saw they had the hot wire 24 coming in, capped off, tested it to ground, proved it had 24, confirmed these, wired the 24 in, actuator takes off, starts rolling. So we're good to go. that the linkage is loose on. Pretty basic fix. I know my actuator's at 100% up top, so I'm going to rotate, which it is, rotate this damper to 100% position. And I actually need to tighten both of them. I can see the top is sliding around too. There, that's it. Now, for the VFD over here that was having trouble, ended up being the automation. Wasn't sending the signal like it needed to. So, logged in, found it, gave it a signal, got it to do what it's supposed to. Now it's all up and running. It's just a weird glitch it had catch it whenever it went to restart. No big deal. Anyway, off to the next one. Alright, so this is the one that has the busted linkage that was broke off. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the linkage off of this one. This is the one that was just falling in on itself, wasn't doing well. So we're going to rob a linkage off of it until we can get the actual dampers repaired and put it on the one that is working so that it can be fully functional, since that's all it is that's wrong with it. And we'll get all this back online. Now you hear it's kind of quiet in here. The air handlers, you got your main panel over here. For some reason we lost power to that main panel, so that's going to be next on the agenda, is figure out, okay, where did our power go, why is it off, yada yada yada. Well, to do that, it's got a panel codes, MCC1, so now we need to go down to the main distribution panels in the ground floor of the building, try to find the disconnect for that panel and see if, if it's fuses or if it's the actual turned off or just what's going on. Anyway, let's get over here on this. It was pretty straightforward. I'm just going to try to take this top one off of here. Hopefully it'll come easy. Loosen that off. Back this one off down here. Feels like this actuator maybe toast too, just sliding around awfully easy. Yeah, looks like it's in good shape. Don't see anything immediately wrong with it. So, let's head over to the other air handler, get it back online, and then the only thing that's actually wrong with this one here behind me is, again, a loose linkage. So that'll be a pretty easy fix, no big deal. Just tighten her up and be done with it. You gotta love how tight everything's gotta be. Alright, let's get you down here. Okay. Hope everyone's taking a look at the HVAC parent challenge. I did actually have some good response out of that. Really appreciate HVAC Tactical, taking it serious. He jumped on there and actually shared a link showing that he was teaching his kids some very good life skills, specifically how to safely and properly handle firearms. It's actually really cool to see. Really appreciate that guy. He's also here local to me. Got to meet him at a ACCA meeting. Oh, I don't know, a year back, 2 years back, something like that. It's been a hot minute. But he's a really good guy. I don't hardly get to talk to him as much as I'd probably like to, but before I get too far ahead of myself. Yeah, you can just see that right there. It just sheared right off. Yeah, I've gotten ahead of myself. That's okay. Also notice it's bent. I don't know why it's bent. Let's see if I can straighten that up. Okay. I wonder if they tried to bend it to get it to line up a little easier. It's the only thing I can think of. Alright. Tighten this one down. And now it's in the full open position. Oh, you know what? Doing all this, I did not try to rotate the dampers. That might be why it broke. Okay, well, fair enough. Guess I should have done a little deeper investigating. Oh well. We got a bunch of repairs coming up here anyway. We'll have to just add this one to the list of see what's going on. We may have to open this up, get it to break free, and try to see if we can get it working again. If I can just get the damper broke loose, I know the actuator's doing fine. I just need the damper now functional. I'm not gonna take the time to go through all that today though. Oh, we're gonna get started on these other repairs here in the next days to coming weeks. And so we'll be able to fix it then. I'm trying to, we'll look and see if there's, no, there's no shafts through. Because actually you can see that on this one. If you look, it's got where the supposed to be. Let me straighten the camera up. Yeah, there's supposed to be some kind of pin there to hold that damper in place. It ain't there. Oh well. All right. Let's get you set up here. All right. Let's This moves freely. We're at the full open position on the actuator. Now, one of the things that may cause this one to bind up a little bit, so I'm not going to go to 100%. I'm going to back off just a hair, because the way those are positioned, it's liable to bind up right there. So I'm going to give it a little help and not go so extreme. Make sure both of these are tight. Oh yeah. Okay, that one works. So, this penthouse is done. We can move on to the last one, everything else we did. So, I had one of the controls guys here helping me, and he found a couple of bad actuators in another penthouse. So, we'll get those in the plans to get them replaced. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. Very cloudy day. It's actually starting to cool down though. Actually I think this whole week the weather's been, mornings have been I think in the 60s, which is pretty nice, kind of unusual this early in the year, truly. But I guess maybe not. It is the end of September. But I think the afternoons are much nicer. So one of these, I think it was this one over here, had a linkage. Double check these others while we're here. I thought it was something more than just that I saw, but I don't remember. It could be this other big one. So for those who don't know that are watching this and you're wondering, you know, what kind of equipment am I working on? These are chill water air handlers. They run off chill water, hot water. That's what they're using to cool the space, cool the supply air temp. The supply air gets pushed into the building. We've got boxes down in the building that are controlling how much air gets moved to each zone, and that's how we control the cooling. It's based off of that. So it's a really simple system, not much to it. We do the same thing with hot water as building as boilers. And so we run hot water through the air handler in order to provide the cooling or the heating we need as well. So yeah. Let's see, I think this one is open. Yep, it's open. ahead and tighten these joints just to be sure. Okay. Well, that wraps up this job for today. Wraps up my morning. Let's see, what time is it? Hold on. Oh yeah, it's lunchtime. Okay. Well, the rest of my day is gonna be pretty boring. A lot of paperwork. I'm trying to catch up on some spreadsheets and stuff I'm working on. I got a job going. I need to go get on site for it and see it push through, and yeah, we'll see. I don't know how much footage I'm going to get throughout the rest of the day. I just thought this might be kind of interesting. Regardless, look at the parent challenge, check it out, like, subscribe. Hope you enjoy it. And I got my 500 subscriber YouTube email telling me, give me the old pat on the back, so yay me. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later.